funny thing has happened. As the indie scene's grown, we've seen more Metroidvanias, from the early rumblings of Cave's story to the soaring heights of Hollow Knight. For a short period, people were getting aggravated with the surplus we were getting. I was always happy to sift through the chaff because the gems in the genre are some of my favorite pieces of media ever. I was dismayed by the calls for there to be fewer Metroidvanias. No, fill me up. I am a glutton for these spirally games that fold back in on themselves. But then roguelikes happened, and people quietly shifted their hate to the procedurally generated ilk. Now, if that's fair to the rogue genre is a different topic entirely, but once again everyone seems to be excited about the meticulous, handcrafted level design that comes from a solid Metroidvania. 𝐭 is a Kickstarter game from nearly a decade ago, and looking at old photos, it's come a long way. It definitely wasn't slacking back then, but this world we ended up with is striking and wondrously lonely. You'll trek through decrepit yet evocative terrain, encountering horrendous baddies that surprised me throughout. It may appear to be a little Giger influenced, but this feels less derivative than something like Scorn, and retains its own identity while playing in the same space as Super Metroid. This might be the most fun I've had with sci-fi stuff amongst indie Metroidvanias. The fantastic Death's Gambit Afterlife plays with this, but not as heavily. I might go as far to say this clicked with me more than Metroid Dread. A big part of that no doubt goes to its surprising amount of Souls inspiration. This isn't easy at all. I was a little worried that it would be after the first boss, but then an optional one gave me a run for my money for more than an hour. But it did drop a great item, and the second was an absolute blast to memorize. Where Metroid Dread was polished to a perfectly clean shine, it really surprised me. Whereas Ghost's story is often unpredictable and can be shocking at times. And while this is hard, I wouldn't say it's as oppressive or opaque as most FromSoft games. The classics are here, but a little jumbled. You do have save points like bonfires, but not all come with the ability to level up. Those are a little more scattered and are visualized by a huge dead robot. You only have 3 stats: Vigor, health and melee power, resolve, your stamina, and gun power. The limited options makes it easier to get back into the game without fussing about too much, and while I love to have more player expression, sometimes a leaner set of options allows for a more guided experience. When you die, you drop your currency for leveling up and have one chance to get it back. Die again, and they're gone. Each death also comes with a temporary loss of your max health pool. You can reset this at those big robots mentioned for leveling up by using some of your currency, but it's a poor get poorer mechanic that I'm not too fond of. If I'm struggling, I probably don't need the game punishing me for it. This is a thing I think Blasphemous fixed, where when you pick up your lost tears, you're actually given some healing. I don't think that obfuscates the difficulty as much as it makes me feel like the game is on my side, and that goes a long way. You're playing as someone who may or may not be a robot. You don't think you are, but you're referred to as Dead Suit because of the armor you wear. You can aim around like a Metroid game, and you even get some missiles and extra goodies like a spear, fire bullets, a giant fist, to help you through the monstrosities that will plague your journey. By choosing to power down, you can change your suit's modules, which act as various modifiers and felt substantial to my build. You can't charge up your gun. Instead, it shoots rapid-fire blasts that do more damage the closer you are, and weaken with each successive shot as it overheats. As this happens though, your melee weapon gets stronger. This makes for an engaging and strategic push and pull that keeps the combat from feeling too samey. At first you'll feel weak, but the game doesn't take long to give you vital upgrades like a dash with extremely unforgiving iframes, and you'll start to feel at one with this strange, cruel world. The story has a lot more heart than you might think. It's cryptic but not overly so, and has some NPCs that can tug at your chest. This pathos reminded me a bit of Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights. Something that I haven't even mentioned is that this is largely made seemingly by one person. I think the lead designer's brother handled most of the story, and a couple of other credits go to audio design, but this is very much playing in the same space as Mamadora Reverie Under the Moonlight or Axiom Verge. I don't want to spoil too much with the footage or my mouth words because this does some really fun stuff, and the music and sound design all come together so well to place you in this creepy atmosphere. If you like exploring, finding hidden goodies, tough fights, and getting surprised, you'll be right at home here. This late into the year, we don't often see a lot of big splashes from the indie scene, but 𝐭 came out of nowhere and is easily one of the highlights of the year and genre for me. Yes, this screams Metroid, but it's so much more than that. And that's why I am awarding 𝐭 as many golden genie lamps of approval as possible. So many they're tumbling out of my pockets. Genies for all!